Purchase recs and purchase orders. These are two very basic instruments with similar sounding names that have related but very different uses within the organization. Let's start looking at both of them at the macro level. A purchase requisition, or a purchase rec, is an internal document used to request the purchase of goods or services and is the starting point of the procurement process. Notice that spending is reviewed and approved before any vendor is engaged. Requisitions can originate from almost anywhere within the organization, although that does not mean that anyone can order anything whenever they feel like it. They are often the first step in the procurement process. The purchase rec is typically used by the department ordering the goods and the procurement group. A purchase order, or a PO, is an external document sent to a supplier once a requisition has been approved. It basically places the order. The purchase order form serves as a formal, legally binding agreement that confirms what's being purchased, at what price, and under what terms. The PO is the very basis for delivery, invoicing, and ultimately the payment, making it critical to contract enforcement and compliance. The purchase order is typically used by purchasing and accounts payable for purposes of verifying the invoice for payment, and of course the supplier. One easy differentiator is that the purchase rec is an internal document, while the purchase order is shared with external parties. It has no value until it is sent to the vendor who will supply the goods. Often, although not in all circumstances, the procurement team or the purchasing department is the one who decides where the goods will be ordered from. Depending on how budgeting is done, both purchase recs and POs may go through the budget group for budget versus actual analysis. Alternatively, that data is often pulled from the ERP. Now let's take a closer look at these critical tools. By the way, if you're new here, on this channel we teach accounts payable best practices, accounting basics, AP automation, and job search strategy for business professionals. If this made purchase orders and purchase recs a little clearer, please hit the subscribe button. And now on to purchase rec. A requisition starts when a stakeholder, often outside the procurement team, submits a request for goods or services. That request kicks off a certain chain of events, if you will, for checks and approval before it can become a PO or a purchase. First of all, there is the creation. This is the structured form which captures the key details like item type, spend category, cost center, vendor, and sometimes even justification. And it's got all or a lot of your accounting information. This is the initial step. The next thing is the verification step. The system checks if the request aligns with budgets, approved vendors, and existing contracts. The third step are getting the required approvals. The requisition is routed to the right approvers based on business logic such as approval limits, category, department, etc. And finally, step 4, execution. Once fully approved, the request is automatically converted into a purchase order if you're doing it automatically, which will be sent to the supplier. Sometimes this step also requires purchasing to select the supplier or put the item out for bid. So that's where the automatically doesn't always smoothly follow. Miss any one step or get any step wrong and serious problems can ensue. And now let's turn our attention to purchase orders. But first, a quick favor. Hit the like and the hype button to let us know if you found this helpful. What is a purchase order? A purchase order is a legally binding document created by a buyer and presented to a seller. Purchasing and accounting professionals frequently refer to purchase orders using the shorthand abbreviation PO. Each PO or purchase order should have a unique number associated with it, and this is frequently referred to as the PO number. Alrighty, so how does a purchase order work? A purchase order should include all the details related to the order so there can be no confusion. This might include an item number or the name of the good, and any other defining details such as color. It should also include the quantity, the payment terms, and any delivery details that might be needed. Once the purchase order is accepted, it documents the transaction as agreed by the buyer and the seller. What are the 4 kinds of purchase orders? There are a number of different kinds of purchase orders, and we're going to take a look at them all. Purchase order type number 1 is referred to as the standard purchase order. This is the one that we are most familiar with, the standard purchase order. And typically it is a one-off and is for a one-time purchase. Even organizations that do a lot of businesses together will use standard purchase orders, although they will have negotiated standard terms ahead of time, and these will automatically be included on the purchase orders. They don't have to reinvent the wheel every time they get started. Purchase order type number 2. It's called a contract purchase order. And these are agreements used to create ongoing commercial relationships between a buyer and a seller. They spell out the terms and conditions, include things like payment terms, delivery terms, who pays for the freight, etc. However, and this is the big difference, no products or orders are specified at that. Purchase order type number 3 are called standing purchase orders. And these are used when the same amount of an item is ordered repeatedly at a given interval, say weekly or monthly. So an example might be a coffee shop who orders 100 pounds of coffee beans each week, and every week that order just repeats, okay? So it's a standing purchase order. And in this case, the same purchase order number is used for each of these purchases. And it goes without saying, if you're working in accounts payable and you're dealing with this, you need to be very careful that you don't end up paying for something twice. Okay, and our 4th type of purchase order is called a blanket purchase order. And these are similar to standing purchase orders, except there typically is a cap. The purchase order might be good for $100,000. And when that $100,000 limit is met, then the purchase order either has to be replenished or a new one issued. In these cases, orders are not automatic. It's not every week or every month, but whenever the buyer needs more goods, they notify the seller, and the seller will ship the goods, and then when they bill it against the purchase order. Meanwhile, the buyer needs to track, well, actually both folks need to track the purchase order to see what's left against it. And then, of course, when it runs out, if you will, then they need to issue a new one or replenish it. Okay, now to be blunt about it, most of you watching this will primarily use that standard purchase order type, but the others do have their place in industry and business, and they are used. I don't want to say frequently, but they are used. It's not uncommon. Let's leave it at that. Okay, now, before we get to that one mistake that has literally cost organizations millions of dollars, I'd like to share that we have over 300 videos in our AP Now library, with new accounts payable and payment videos being added every Tuesday and Thursday, and we're adding short tips on some other days. Occasionally on Saturdays, we have a little Wordle fun. Please check out the rest of this channel after you finish this video. Okay, so what is that purchase order mistake that costs millions? After a payment is made, regardless of whether you pay with a check, a card, a wire transfer, an ACH, that purchase order should be extinguished or closed out immediately. I can't say this loud enough. Immediately. It's that simple. Don't wait for the end of the week or the end of the month, and then you can do them all at once because it might make it a little easier for you. Do it immediately. That's a lot of extra work weeding them out, and inevitably, that's a lot of chances for you to make a duplicate payment, and a few of them will slip through. And when it comes to this issue, we haven't talked much about automation, but in many organizations, much of this process is automated, as we kind of alluded to, for both purchase recs and purchase orders. Ordinarily, this is a good thing, especially when it comes to ticking off boxes for tedious standard terms and conditions. But there is one time when this can cause serious, costly problems, and all too many organizations fall into this trap. To make sure this doesn't happen in your organization, click on the link that has appeared on your YouTube screen and is in the description. Good luck.